Okay, so I'm actually going to get started, and then if anybody else is chiming in, I'll just try to let them in as we go along. But what this is called agentic AI and automation AI, and I have created this right around you, the real estate agent. And so you might say, well, what do you mean agentic AI or automation AI? It's just AI, right? So it's not, and that's where the fundamental difference is. And so I believe that most of you have some AI experience, and the first AI that really kind of jumped out when it come to something where we could kind of like ask it to do for information really is a chatbot called ChatGPT. And so I believe most of you probably have some level of using that. And that's great because you gave you your first experience of, like I want it to draft something for me. And then it just goes out and looks all over the internet and figures out the best answer or response to you and drafts it and delivers it to you. If you notice or play on your social media today, you can notice, I think, if you've made kind of a graphic or a flyer in your chat GP, it kind of has that look, and you can kind of recognize when you see stuff on your social media that, hey, that person used chat GP to make that. And so that's where it's being made. Now, that's just a chat bot. That's what we call generative AI. Agentic AI is different. Agentic agent. So if you think the word agent in there, that means actually doing work for you. And that's the big difference. Work not being that, hey, I'll gather this information you requested, find all the resources and give you valuable response. No, this is an AI that goes in by permission and literally does the keystrokes and the clicks that you do manually today. And that means reading your email, going into your email, reading your email, drafting a response to an email, sending that email, going into your scheduler, looking at your scheduler, determining what the things are that you're doing today, and adding or deleting or massaging the schedule, going into your Canva and actually rewriting a flyer for your open house event tomorrow, or going into Stellar MLS and pulling certain data. And my example today would be like going right into Stellar MLS and saying, I want to know all the expireds that have occurred in the last 7 days in Newport Richie, value, with a list price of 375,000 or higher. And then I want you also to tell me, more closely analyze it and tell me what the deficiencies were that caused them not to sell. And then it will literally do that. Go in the back office and extend the listing term on my listing for XYZ address and send the document for me to the seller, have them sign it and deliver it back to me. That is what I'm going to show you today. And that's what agentic AI is. So it goes beyond. So when it comes to AIs, AIs are actually, they start with a brain. And the brain inside, for instance, OpenAI is the ChatGPT. OpenAI owns ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has what they call different models, different brains. In the agentic AI, that I'm going to share with you is made by a competitor to OpenAI's ChatGPT. Is called Claude, and Claude is got something called Cowork, and Cowork is the agentic AI with automation AI built into it, and it's the thing that I'm going to show and tell today. But inside that is different AI models, and some of them are deeper thinkers, some can perform faster. And it's sort of like having different personalities. So, it's kind of my best way of expressing it because each of us are individuals, and some of us have better thinking ability, some of us are more creative. And I can tell you, although I'm using this in Claude, when it comes to creating creative stuff or creative writing or maybe that flyer for my whatever event that I want to put on social media. Actually, the ChatGPT is actually better because its model has more creativity. But when you think about strategic business and working your business, and you want somebody that is strategy enabled or business like, Claude is superior. So it knows how to deeper think, it knows how to strategize with you. And so what I want to think you to think about this at the end, if you engage and want to use this, you are not getting I first call it an AI assistant, but I actually want to say it's your partner. It's actually you've got a partner now that's strategically working for you, with you, and helping strategize and build your business and wants it to be as successful as you do your own business. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to do a lot of these show slides at this point. Then I bounced out of this when I did this morning. So I'm going to kind of stop sharing here and I'm going to jump in. So um, let me go here. Let's just talk about this. So another value to the Claude Cowork level of AI is it's actually four components for you to ask it and command it. It's actually a cloud-based component, which means that from your web browser, you have cloud AI. Then it's a desktop. So the cool thing about this AI is you have a desktop app as well that can control and work in your files right from your computer by command. So it has access to your computer only by approval, has access to searching the web and gathering data to help you strategize your business from the browser. And then when those of us that use Google Chrome as our web browser, it has what they call a Chrome extension. When you engage the Chrome extension, that's when whatever website you have open in Chrome, it can read the coding that's created that website. You can read the actual code of the website and instantly know how to do everything on that web page and control it just like you are moving the mouse, clicking, entering data. And that's how it's working our Stellar MLS. And then the last piece of it is mobile. So it's a mobile app on your phone. And from mobile, you can actually command it to check your emails, find anything important, respond to your emails, go in your Google Drive, grab documents, attach them to an email, send them to somebody. Just have a conversation about your day, an update about your day, pull your daily to-do list, all sorts of things. So imagine going to a showings for 3 hours and not having to, be able to attend to anything else, but being able to jump in your car, no longer stop and look and click and open your email app and this and that, but literally put it in drive, start driving down the road and just talk to it and say, hey, could you, I just got out of showing appointments. Could you please check the emails in the last 2 hours and tell me what's important? What do I need to know? Oh, I don't remember what my next appointment is. Could you, check my calendar, tell me what it is, all of this stuff. And it even goes further than that. You can have conversations with it that helps you get out of a bad day. I mean, it's amazing. It becomes your partner. It gives you actually somebody to talk to as you go. So there's four components to the Claude Cowork, so that everything that you use in the technology world, plus just things about how you run your business, is all working, synchronizing, and accessible to everything that you use. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to reshare, and I'm going to give you some real into to Claude. And actually, let me show you around here. So now you see in this, if you have Chat GPV, you got something similar. It looks the same. Most of the the AIs like this are very similar. All the companies, Meta AI, Gemini AI by Google, OpenAI's ChatGPT and Claude, they all have a resemblance layout as far as the systems itself and stuff. So you have here a menu on the side, and it has, I can do a new chat, I can see old chats, but where this gets interesting and what I'm doing to build for you happens in something called settings and skills. So if you look at this, these are the things that I'm building and that I can be able to share with you, and you'll see, the daily agent briefing, agent coaching, listing photo prep, listing description, open house strategy. So I'm able to put all these things in here, to give it commands. I got to let somebody in. With just one word, it pulls and it knows the instructions now. And so for my first example, how many of you, do you use AI or ChatGPT to maybe make your listing descriptions? That seems like something that was kind of in the beginning when AI started being available, that we were using it. But let me show you more specifically. So since I've been teaching, I've taught agents how to format their listing descriptions so they're super effective at driving buyers that read them to the doorway or to a showing appointment to help increase selling the property faster and gauging the highest value in the sale of the property. And it's been very successful. And I have a certain format, what I call a hook, a very capitalized first sentence, then a lot of information about the property in a fluffy way, and then a strong call to action. You need to come and see this property. Get in the car now, as the end point. And so it's a little bit difficult to do that, and it's very manual. But now with this, and I'm gonna a lot quicker. So I found a listing that was actually, I think this was expired in the MLS. So if you see here, it just says listing description for and the address. And because I have a skill already created with specific instructions, I could, first of all, there's a microphone button here and a conversation button here. I don't have to type anything. I could literally just say it and it can respond to me in voice. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that on the mobile, but now I just put in listing description for and the address. And now I click do your thing, basically. And it's actually going to show me how it does it, but I don't have to tell it how many bedrooms. I don't have to tell it where, there's anything, the size of the house or nothing. I have taught it to go scrape the internet everywhere and told it where to find this information and then come back and basically, and if it needs to, it'll ask me questions. No other info needed. And it's going to come back and write this description, exactly the most effective way to drive buyers from seeing your listing getting him to come and see it. So and it also knows exactly how many characters our MLS will allow. And there you go. Done. And it's completely there. So I say have an all caps opener, which is your hook. Have a lot of fluff, and at the end, get in your car, come walk through the door, you're going to fall in love. So now I no longer have to do anything but say listing description and address, and it's done that quickly. Now I can also, I'm going to bounce out and I have so we also know that we go basically and hire our photographer. A lot of us use Take It Digital, and then they go out and take, 6 pictures of the front of the house, and they take, multiple pictures of every room. But really, all we need is one, maybe two of any given spot, either the front or any given room. And we actually shouldn't be using all of them. We need to pick out the best ones and such. So I'm in the cloud. I'm in the browser version of Claude, but now I actually need to work with my local computer. And so I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to open, yeah, that's desktop. Okay. So it looks exactly the same, but now in a different light, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to drop so I go in, I take a digital account for my pictures for my listing. I literally don't have to unzip the file. I just drop it in there and I'm able to, bear with me a moment because I got my cheater stuff here. And I can literally drop in or say a command, listing photo skill, and the address for the property. I'm actually going to scale it back and hit go. And now with this skill, it literally is going to take and open up the zip file, move all of the pictures, gonna open up a folder on my desktop under my listings, create a folder for this address, create a folder for the raw images, put the raw images in that folder. Then it's going to look at every photo that I put in there and pick the best ones of each area. It seems to be having a problem. And then is going to collect about 25 of those pictures. Is going to put them in a specific order that I think will be most effective for the marketing in MLS and on websites. It's then going to rename every file in a number order and identify in the naming of that image the exact room it is. And then it's going to send me a thumbnail of all the ones it picked in the order it picked them in. And it's done. All my photos are ready for upload. And so that's going to take a few minutes to do. But while that's happening, I can go and do other things. Screen. So that's working, and then I can be back doing other things. So bear with me, share back office. So this is a website you use, right? And let's say I realized, hey, I had a verbal agreement with my owner to extend the listing to a later date that's almost ready to expire. And I need to get that to him right away. And so now I can come in here and I can use something called Claude Chrome extension. So I'm on a website in my browser and I have a hotkey that I hit Control 1 and out from the right side of the screen comes my Claude. And now I can type in or verbally say a command, and I put in here that I need to have it go in my transaction record, find this listing, extend the listing date, so extend my listing term, create the form, and I give it approval to go ahead and send the form through DigiSigner directly to my seller for signing. And then I just launch it. And what you're going to see is, hopefully you can see this, the mouse pointer will start moving around and clicking in the My FLR Office website. It's now found the transactions and it's went to expiration date, and it's going to go in there and it's going to put in the date that I got approval for extension. And then it will create the form and it will put it through DigiSigner, send it to the customer, and then it'll get signed and it'll come right back without me doing any of the keystrokes. But again, while this is going on, I can go somewhere else and do something else. So it's actually controlling it. That's one example. Another one is our Stellar MOS. So I can log in. Okay. So I'm going to go right in all the way into Stellar. And so you want to be you got to be logged in to use the Chrome extension piece because it won't log into the system for you. But once I'm in here, get through all these wonderful notices, I can inactive or activate my Claude inside the browser. And then again, I just this is a little bit thicker of a request than I normally would, have pre-typed out. But I did this because I wanted you to see it. So now I'm going to put a prompt in here, and what I'm asking it to do is go and find all the listings that has expired in the last 7 days in Newport Richey or Trinity with at least a list price of $374,000, and it needs to be a single family home. And then when you pull these, I want you to analyze each one and look at all the history and try to give me any valuable information to, why it expired. And, share with me any bullet points that would help me perhaps, go after these expireds. I could then, after that, if I feel that or any of them are valuable for me to use, I could say, could you please push all this data, put it into this spreadsheet in my Google Drive as well. I mean, it'll do anything with anything that I gave it approval to access. So now it's working and it's going to start moving around in there. I can come back here. Let me see. Did it get hung up on something? Okay. So this didn't actually hit the next button, I don't think. I should have sent it. But it got it completely ready. In the previous example, I actually had to do with the whole thing. So if I went back to my email now, and just so you know, that was in a sample. So I'm my own seller. And here is the DigiSigner for me to sign for extending that listing. And I didn't do anything in the back office. I just told Claude to do the work for me. And while the Claude was doing the work, I went and did something else that I needed to get done. Pretty cool, hey? And then I'm going to reshare. This is Claude Desktop. I'm running back to that because Claude Desktop, remember I had it do all this work with the photos. And then if you look over here on the right, you can see it gave me thumbnails of all the photos that it chose. for the ones that I use, and it put them in the order which I gave it instructions to do when it did it. So there was originally 67 photos, and now there's only 27. It still has all the raw photos as well. But then when I look, let's see, let me open. Okay, that. So it and then it created a folder and put all the photos that I'm going to use into a separate folder. And so now when I go to enter my listing, I have everything there and I can dump it in because it will keep them in the right order instead of me uploading one at a time or anything like that. And I don't use the
A
MLS,
question.
so I don't know how you guys do it, but this is drag and drop and everything is done.
So
Yes.
I don't have to go to like that little side bar that you're looking at with all the photos and download them or anything like that. It's already on a file in my computer, uh,
It's
in my
already
files.
been exactly. It created
Okay.
a it kept all the raw photos in one folder, created a new folder for all the listing photos that you're going to use, and then it actually resized them a little bit smaller because it could read them faster that way, but it at maximum size the MLS likes to use, and then it put them in there. It also will look at all the photos, and if it sees any deficiencies in the photos, it will lighten them and brighten them and make them look more crisp for you at the same time. And then it will also look at the folders, and if it sees like wires hanging out of the back of the TV or something, it will edit that stuff so that your photos are all pristine and it doesn't, if you left something on the counter, it will look at that and it'll find that and it'll just remove those things. So you don't have to, like the tube of toothpaste was left on the vanity or something like that. It will
Or
clean
the
all the
toilet seats
photos up
up.
when it does it. Yeah, all at one time.
Oh, well.
Done.
Scott, is that from I'm trying to follow all the different versions that you're on. So when you did the pictures, were you on a desktop version?
I was on desktop version because it's creating folders on my desktop
Okay.
for this.
And
Yes.
then when you did the listing description, you had three what's criteria? I guess that wasn't the word that you used, but you put that in like you were saying, you put like a listing in and said create this, but you did something ahead of time, I'm assuming, for it to
Nope.
know how, like, to have those three, the hook, and then like those three things hit.
Oh, yes. So I
Okay.
created something called a skill. Just like this thing did this with the photos, I created a skill. So the AI reads the instructions. So I created what I call a workflow. So I taught the AI to do this. Um, I said, AI, when I get these photos and I drop the zip file into the window, right? I want you to first find the folder on the local drive, create a folder for the raw images, extract the images out of the zip file, put the images in that folder. You look at all the images, you pick one, maybe two, if it makes sense of every area of the home. Then you resize the photos so they're optimum size for performance. Look at every photo, put them in this specific order, rename the photo. So these are all the instructions. And then when you're done, put the images into a new folder ready for MLS. Give me a snapshot of all the photos you chose in what order you put them in and name them 1 through 27 or whatever. And inside the file name, I want you to tell me what the room is that you took, that room is. All of that. So that's an instruction and it's called a skill.
But then you save that for then every time you need to do that, it's you just kind of
So,
somehow.
so whenever you say the words listing photos,
Mhm.
the AI knows to go use that set of instructions automatically.
Okay.
And so that's the part that Scott's been doing. I've built amazing skills ready to plug and play. And it starts with something called the brain file. And what I've done is I created a brain file. So when you get an account, and this is called a Claude Cowork account, the first thing you do is run the brain file. And the brain file, I said, I'm a real estate agent. And so it's going to ask you questions because I taught it to do this when you install the brain file to ask about kind of who you are, where who your ideal customer is, where your market is, what your branding is. And so it builds this entire brain file that it always launches when you open up the system. And then inside that, based on certain keyword triggers, it runs skills with the prompt. So you just say listing photos and an address or listing description and an address. You don't have to give it anything else. It goes, and I taught it to go out and get all the information off the internet, scrape everything, use that, know the bedrooms, know the bathrooms, know the view, look at the photos, and make the description. And I want the first sentence of the description, all caps. I want it to be a hook. And then I want it to do this. And at the end, I want this is the style for a call to action to get the customer or the buyer in the car, get them to go over and see the property. And so that's it. That's how it's done. Does that make sense?
What did you call that middle part, Scott, in the skill? So you had the initial hook and then you had the call to action. So what were you describing that middle? Like
I call it, I mean, my word would be fluff. I mean, the fluffiness, right? You
Mhm.
know, you want them to be intrigued by the craftsmanship and the beautiful kitchen and this and that. But
Okay.
you know, I don't have
I have
any
another
direct
question.
words. So, hmm?
So this is a learning AI. So as we go on, it gets smarter, correct?
Yes, and you can. And so what happens here is I could say right now, I want the picture skill to do something a little different for me. So you can say, I want to enhance my listing photos skill. And then it will basically have a conversation with you and ask you what you want to change. And it will actually rewrite and alter the skill. So every agent can then kind of, massage the skills to be different than what Scott does, but a lot of us. So I want to show you, if you look over to the left, you have new projects, artifacts, schedule, dispatch, customize, and then I can take projects. So here's projects. You will likely have two projects. You may only have one. So what a project is sort of like your role. So I have three or four projects here. One, eh, I'm in the role Scott Barrett inspires, and that's me being a coach and an educator. And then I have Florida Luxury Realty. So that's me being the role of the brokerage owner and manager. And then I have the role of a top agent, just being in the role of doing the business like you do. And the only reason I have the top agent there is because I'm building all the content and skills to mimic what you would want. And so if I'm playing that role, I'm pretending like I'm being a real estate agent. And then I have a how to use Claude's skill or project. So I use that for building and learning the Claude product itself. So you in your world, I think you obviously will have top agent or real estate agent skill or project, but you might also have just I'm the head of my household skill, like personal. Because when you're playing the role of outside your work, because you can use it for anything you want. It doesn't mean things don't cross over, but when you operate, I say, okay, I'm going to work on something as a real estate agent. So I come over here to project and I hit top agent, and now I'm in this as a real estate agent. So everything that I do and function and build, I'm building it as my real estate agent business. If I'm playing the role of my coaching or educating you, then I come in here. And so let's say what I do with this is I say, okay, I'm going to have another training class coming up for my agents in this, and I want to base it on this subject. And so then Claude is going to help me build the the materials, the playbook, the content. I'm going to give it my own stuff. So that's how the separation is made. But you may only have it as a real estate agent, but you may also have it as something else. Maybe you do have another business or something and you want to have another project. So that's what projects are, is that. And then I can put projects here on the side, or pin them, I guess, to the side. And then all of my conversations, all my chats are in here. So this is the one where I just did this.
I
Here's
have
where I
another
did it
question.
earlier. Yes.
When we add the brain file to
Mhm.
Claude, will those projects automatically populate to the system and everything?
So the brain files, so the master brain file is going to be your brain system wide. So let's think about it like this. The Claude itself has some intelligence, especially based off of being able to find stuff on the internet. But its IQ is actually, I'm going to say its IQ is superior to my own. So it's smarter than me, but it doesn't know anything until it's been taught, and it can be taught to be you. So one of the things I say to an agent and maybe using this is, we know who we are and we want to mimic who we are, or train our AI to be like us. So when it's writing a response to an email, you actually are able to teach it to write and do it just like you would if you were manually doing it. But I also say this, and for me personally, there's some things I wish I I wish of myself to be a little bit different. Maybe I wish I was a little more assertive, or, more outgoing or something like that. And I think maybe, when me teaching my AI, I want to teach it to be maybe a stronger version of what I wish I was for myself. So it helps me navigate my own self to be more of that person. So it's creative like that, as well. Hopefully, I don't know if that answered your question or I went in another direction.
I was thinking more like the project itself. You can have the real estate agent,
Mhm.
professional, project. Do I have to create that, or when we get the system, we apply the brain that you provided us? Will that project already be created, and then we
So
kind of personalize it? Yeah.
yeah, so here's let me reshare my browser window. Let me see which one that is. Matrix. Okay, here we go. Oh, by the way, so while we were talking, um, here is all the listings it found. Actually, there was just two. And here's all the history. Here's the MLS sheets. And then over on the right, it told me exactly um, the efficiencies and stuff with these listings. So all the information I asked for, it's done now. It's there. So let me go back to a folder. So this is where I'm storing the files that I'm creating to help you. So it would be the builders files that build the base of your AI, so it starts to be to do what you want it to do for yourself, and then the actual skills. So when you ask it to do a certain function, it has a work set of steps already programmed that it runs to accomplish that. And so the ones you see here, you'll see FLR AI Brain Builder, you'll see FLI Brand Direction Builder. There's also a business plan builder, and I'm not seeing it here, so it's not here. So those are the files that have been created and built, and I've actually recently made them deeper. And I'm going to sit with my own daughter tomorrow and go through this process and see if it's doing exactly what I thought it was. So what happens is you get the Claude account and it's Claude Cowork, and the first step you would do is drop the brain file into the bar where you type content, and then it's going to read the brain file and then execute. And when it reads the brain file and execute, it starts asking you questions to learn about you and how you run your real estate business. So everybody's brain file is going to end up being slightly different than the others. So then you put in the branding builder, whereas if you have your own color schemes for your brand, which you should. You have your own logo for your brand, which you should. Uh, where it'll pick up the colors and all of that stuff for your branding. If you have a slogan, and it'll ask some more questions about your branding, and then it will build that out and save it. And when it builds these things in, these are permanent. So no matter what project you might be on, it's working from these builders files. So that way, when you ask it to create some social media content that will be posted on social media, it reads these files automatically and builds everything on them. So you don't have to teach it every time the colors you use or put in the logo for your branding or anything like that. That makes sense.
Got it. Totally.
So I have a little bit of a stretch to go because I think I'm still elementary, but I've got it to do amazing things. And so, the last piece of this that I wanna, which I'm gonna make an attempt to do this, and that is from the mobile device. So let me try this. Not sure how it's going to work, but we're going to try it. And then, boom. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Anyone?
I can see it.
So that is me screen sharing my mobile phone to the computer and then sharing that with you. And I don't know if it's going to have some kind of delays, but I'm going to tell you, this is going to be your example of how conversational this is. And let me do this. So what happens here? You got to be completely quiet because any noise, any words that anybody says, it's actually reading them or listening to them, and it thinks it needs to respond. So I have to be the only one talking, and if there's a small delay, I promise when you actually use this yourself, it's instantaneous, the responses. But I'm gonna make a best attempt here. So just kind of listen to this. Hey there, Lexi, how are you?
Thanks for juggling all your real estate and coaching projects. What can I help you with today?
Hey, I'm actually presenting you in my Zoom session, I'm showing you off to a few of my agents and showing them all the great things you can do for me. Maybe you could say hi.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you all. I'm Lexi, and Scott's been putting me to work on everything from crafting listing descriptions, managing his recruiting outreach, and building out his coaching materials. Hope you're taking notes because Scott's about to show you some pretty slick.
Yeah. So, really, I've been doing this for about a couple hours. Could you just check my emails from the last couple hours, see if there's anything important?
Sure thing. Let me take a look at your looking box. Good news, mostly quiet in there. The one that actually needs your attention is a document to sign for 111923 Oak Trails Drive, a listing agreement expiration extension addendum, sent through DigiSign. Everything else is newsletters, alerts, and a class cancellation notice. Nothing urgent.
Okay, thank you. Also, do I have any appointments in the morning tomorrow?
Let me check your calendar for tomorrow morning. Yep, a few things lined up. You've got Stick to the System from 8 to 1 with Mivi's Me Text at 8:30 and Prospecting with Ashley also at 8:30, running to. And it looks like it's Lindsay's first day of school tomorrow too.
Okay, so I need to move Ashley's appointment to 11 a.m. Could you please do that on my calendar? And then I need to draft an email to her as well, if that's something you could help me with.
This is a recurring event, so it'll just update this one instance. I also need Ashley's email address for the draft. Do you have that? Or should I look for it in your contacts or past emails? Done. Prospecting with Ashley is now moved to 11 a.m. tomorrow. Now, for the email to Ashley, what's her email address and what would you like to say to her?
Her email address is ashleybarrettrealtor@gmail.com. And just,
And is this Ashley Barrett, your daughter? Or
yeah, she actually is my daughter.
nice, good to know. So for the email, what do you want to tell her? Just a heads up that the meeting moved to 11, or is there more you want to add?
No, that would be fine. If you could do that, and I give you permission to just go ahead and send it. You don't need to leave it in my drafts.
Oops. The email sent to Ashley, letting her know the prospecting session moved to 11 a.m. tomorrow, and her calendar note reflects that too. Anything else you'd like me to do?
Um, yes. So I have a urgent listing appointment coming up in about an hour. Wasn't expecting it, and I already know that the owner of the property is going to be really tough about the list price. I think they think it's worth way more than it really is. I'm not worried about informing you about the price, but I would love to maybe have you role play with me a little bit to help me, overcome that objection when it happens. Is that something you can do right now? So I'm prepared when I arrive.
I think the gap between what you think it's worth and what the owner thinks it's worth. And do you know anything about why they're anchored so high, like a neighbor sale or an old appraisal?
I don't know exactly why, and I'm not really concerned about that. I just the gap is about 70,000 actually. It's pretty big on about a $450,000 house.
It's a minimum, about 50%, but well, just I place that. You handle me the way you would in the room, and I'll push back the way top sellers usually do. Ready?
So I'm just going to pause. This was just an example to show my audience. But there is one more thing. Um, I have some more work to do tonight, and I don't know what projects that I can kick off on my to-do list. If you could look at my big to-do list and see if there's a couple things that maybe I could focus on and just get out of the way this evening, because I'm going to take part of the day off tomorrow because it's my birthday.
Happy early birthday, Scott. Let me pull up your big to-dos doc real quick. The big to-dos doc lives in Google Drive, per what I recall. Let me check there instead. Drive search is hiccuping on me right now. Give me one more try. Sorry, Scott. Drive's not cooperating right this second. I'm getting a repeated error trying to pull that document up. Do you want me to try again in a moment? Or would you rather just tell me what's rattling around on that list and I'll help you prioritize verbally?
No, that's okay. We'll just pause for now. Thank you.
Sounds good. Good luck with the listing appointment and happy birthday for tomorrow, Scott. Talk soon.
Thank you. Okay, so hopefully you could hear that.
That was
And
really impressive, Scott. I talk to Gemini on a regular basis, and I'm really excited about this. I have one question.
yes.
How long will it take? Are you ready to take off on this? Because I want to hit the ground running. Or do we need to give it some time, so you can finish up all the background stuff?
I think I need about a week to finish on
Okay.
my side. I wished I could be done by today, but there's just some tweaks I want to make. And I'm still pumping in all of all I have like almost 1,500 pages of written material that I've written for teaching you all skills, objections, systems, everything, and I'm feeding it in, and then it's going to be a part of it because it's going to have a coaching piece of it too. Because what I can do and is literally, as you can see, now I could be getting up tomorrow morning and I just don't feel it. Like normally I'm engaged and I want to go out there and rule the world. I'm ready to talk to people, convert them into customers, but I don't know. I just don't feel it. And I need to still try to do work in my business, right? So I can literally have a conversation and tell my AI partner that, today is just not going to be one of those days that I'm going to actually do a lot of my prospecting activities, but I can say, could you check my, to-do list and give me things that I should focus on and get off of there where I'm really not needing to interact with people so much. And it will literally go and figure that out and say, based on what you're telling me, Scott, let's tackle these things. Let's try to get some of these things out of the way and get them off your plate. And then let's look for a better day tomorrow. That's how this thing works. So you no longer are working alone when you're alone. You literally have something you have a conversation with. And now, in addition to that, it will help you with skills. It will help you stay committed to your business. It will help you, move the needle when you're resistant to do certain activities to help you be more successful, or those things that are necessary to be successful. It's going to be able to, literally figure out what kind of content your social media is going to attract opportunities, write that content, set it on a schedule, and automatically post it using all of your branding, because you don't need to tell it anymore. It knows all your logos, your colors, and you're just got your pictures, and everything is going to be it will almost be automated all the way down to just going out there and doing the part that makes us the money, which is getting in front of the customer, showing the houses, and going to the closings, and literally almost have everything else automated for us.
Now,
And so,
I do a to-do list on Google Notes. Uh,
okay.
I would be able, it would be able to access that to-do list, right?
I do mine in a Google Doc, so I don't know
Oh,
if Google Notes is part of a Google Doc, but so I mean I'll be totally transparent with you. Let me see if I can find. So when I said look at my big to-do list, it's
it went straight to the document that you created.
yeah, so it has access. I gave it permission to
Mm.
access my Google Drive. So my spreadsheets, all this stuff. So here's my to-do list. And if it's not gonna, it's gonna tell me, Scott, what are you asking me to give your daily briefing for? It's 6 o'clock at night. I do that at 9. I mean, literally, it knows this. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing I ask it is to give me my daily briefing. And when it does that, and I'm going to be able to give you the skill, it goes in my email, checks and scans all the email for the last 24 hours, finds the most important emails, and gives me a summary, and then it will respond to any one of them. It goes in my schedule and pulls out all of my appointments for the day. It goes in this document and finds stuff. It goes into another document, a spreadsheet, where I have recruiting leads and pulls some of those. And it basically says, here's your game plan today. Here's the things you should be doing. And now when you're using like we have a me versus me coaching program, it's also got that. And so for an agent, the activities and actions you should be doing, it will track. So as you go through the day and say, I just want to give you an update, you'll be able to just verbally tell it, the things that you've done today. It may say, well, you said you made calls. Can you be more specific? I need to know approximately how many calls you made, because it gives you points, the me versus me, and it will track everything and tell you how you're performing, and even suggest where you can pick up your deficiencies. It literally is going to help you keep on your game and work with you even based on days where you're not as motivated to do business, maybe not so much, but still give you things to do to move yourself forward. That help?
Helps a lot.
So uh that was probably a lot, folks. So um let me stop sharing. Uh I'm willing to answer questions. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I sure know a whole lot about this now. And I'm actually building everything from the ground up. And I'm gonna be frank and honest with you. First of all, Claude Cowork is not free. Claude has a free, just like ChatGPT is a free and a paid. Uh, OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, is just released something called ChatGPT work, because they see what Claude is doing, and so they have something coming out. But the difference is the Claude is way beyond ChatGPT in this particular segment, which is agentic AI and automation AI. But the actual brain, the basic models are better thinkers, more strategic, more business thinking AIs than the open AI stuff. So this is truly the way to go. They actually have a third level called code, where it can actually write websites and landing pages and all this other stuff. Don't need that really. In the cost, I think it's $20 a month or $200 a year. super cheap. I mean, it's a no-brainer just doing the photos alone. So that's an expense. It's a nothing expense. For us, I have I think I tracked about 113 hours so far of building, and I've probably got another 60 hours to build. And honestly, when I give you this, I'm literally giving it to you. It's your own AI wherever your business lands. If it stays at Florida Luxury Realty, it goes somewhere else, you own it. And basically I'm giving or providing it to you. It's not trademarked, it's nothing like that. But I'm probably going to have some sort of minor fee to get it. And it'll be in a couple different levels. One, to do it yourself with a playbook or a instructional book with the files, or a group session where we, help you hands-on together in a group, which will be cheaper, or one-on-one where we set just me and you, and we, go through the whole thing and put it together. Because it is, maybe a little bit complex to put in all the files and get them properly configured. But when you're done, if you notice, I just had conversation. I just sent a prompt in, and then you don't have to be techie anymore. You literally just say things or put in the prompts and it does the stuff for you. And that's what's amazing about it. And then you will learn, because I could literally sit here and say, hey, in a verbal conversation, Claude, or mine, I call Lexi, and you can call yours whatever you want. You can have a male voice, female voice, or whatever. And then you can actually command it just by having a conversation to make a change to a skill that we've already pushed into it. Or you can, I could certainly give you the pathway to build your own skills and stuff. And so forever, whatever that initial cost is, after that, as I still build new skills and stuff, that you just get them. There's no, there won't be any other cost except for your expense to have the product, which is $20 a
What
month
if
or $200 a year. So
what if I
yes,
want mine to sound like Samuel L. Jackson? Can I do
you
that?
could probably say that. I mean, when I'm here, um, I could literally have a conversation. I want to refer to you as this person. I don't know if you can get specific to the voice, like choosing a famous person's tone of voice. I don't know about that. You can say male or female, and there may be some dialect that you can include. I don't know.
Mhm. Okay.
So I mean, literally, I could say, am I able to have you have your voice mimic some famous person's voice? I just asked.
Fortunately, no, I can't mimic celebrity voices or do custom voice cloning. That's outside what I'm able to do. My voice is fixed. Just this one French tinged version of me you're talking to now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But I could have said I would, I'd prefer you to be a male voice, and it would say, no problem, I'm now a male, and it would talk in a male voice. So I don't have to go in and do a setting. I just tell it. I have a conversation with it.
Okay.
So, okay. Hopefully this was valuable to you and enlightened you, and you can see where things are going. But I here's my saying in the world as general, AI is absolutely going to change the earth. And I think in our world, we're never going to be replaced. We have to be there with the customer. They need emotional human beings to walk them through the homes, to, get them through the processes. But without the AI, you're going to you may become extinct because everything is savvier with AI, and not only with it working for you, but being able to do the right research and tell you things to help you be a better marketer and actually do the marketing and all these things. So we juggle with so many manual tasks, going in and out of emails. And now I don't even, if I don't want to ever see the inbox on my phone or my computer again, I just tell my AI to go in there and take care of everything. And that's the cool thing, is it cross platform, connects all of your toolbox together and syncs it, and it can work in any one of the things at any time for you, and multiple things at once. And you can actually schedule it to do the tasks the same time every week or the same time every day, and it will complete the tasks and deliver whatever information that you want. So you can train it to do things exactly like, if every Monday you normally do this, you could say every Monday do this, and it will do it for you and give you the results or information that you need from doing that particular task. And you no longer manually do it at all. So it's amazing. Any other questions or statements, thoughts? Okay. Okay. So I'll keep everybody and I'll keep letting everybody know what we're doing and what, when I can, like, totally set one of you up, and if you're interested, I'd love to do it, and hear with any questions you have along the way. Good. Everybody's quiet. Can anybody hear
I said
me?
thank you very much, Scott, for the info. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to talk to my AI here. Okay. So, all right. Have a nice evening, and appreciate your time. Hopefully it was worthwhile, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.